I'll get it. I'm gonna get one.
I have some book, so I'll just say. Yeah. That is smell. Wait, who's the second one for? Dollars.
We have kids in the culture how we do things, and so they instead of being great, I say it's all these kind of
Yes. Oh, okay, I know that will be, you know, and they pay all the high school. That's something that should be considered. I'm just like, and this, okay, now myself. And job, they lived on the ranch in New Mexico, and that was your. I was part of the committee.
Okay, it's 6:16.
Huh?
It's 6:16.
Okay.
Yeah, no. You know what, and they made it. Where?
Is everybody ready? Gonna get the salt. My goodness, I don't even have rain in my head.
Oh, she looked like me. Yeah.
Miss ya. Doing okay?
Yes, we're doing so much better than last month.
Oh, good. That makes my heart happy.
We have that, upper upper respiratory. It sounds like you did.
Yeah.
Oh, not good. Linda Copeland has too. Very sick. But having just far from being sick like this.
Ours was there and there's a kind of injection with the lingering cough.
Yes.
Coughing wears you out.
Both. Jeremy and for me, yeah, he'll go into work, right? If he's teaching or
I think taking any kind of inhaler and stuff.
Oh, no inhalers. That's a good idea.
See, we have a nebulizer.
Yes.
When we got to where we a lot, we do a breathing treatment, like especially I had him do breathing treatments. I ate up the phlegm as that's what led to his pneumonia. I don't know about the nebulizer,
But I just realized with that.
it's durable medical equipment. So if you get a doctor to prescribe it, probably cheap. And then they prescribe it as a synagogue.
It's not the thing.
I know.
But putting this playful humidifier would help him, especially in the bedroom.
That's a good idea.
Baby Ruth, I bet you.
With the heater on, it dries the air. There's causes issues.
That's right.
Okay, Karen.
Okay. I know.
It's
I
a
can't
time.
see
Are you giving us a warning?
Okay, here we go. Becky's ready. Girls, good. Becky's here. Becky's here. Becky's here. Well, you don't know last year, Linda taught us about the hiccups of life and handling them with grace. Well, I found out Linda was sick. So this is a hiccup and it's a big one because y'all sure don't want me teach it. Let me tell you right now. So I handled it very gracefully. I called Becky. And Becky so graciously said yes. And we're doing a little thing, something a little different because Becky's got a 7 o'clock meeting to be at. So we're going to start with her and then afterwards we'll do the door prize and the announcements. So welcome everybody. We're going to start with the prayer and then Becky, it's all yours. Yeah. Dear Lord, thank you so much that we're all together. We just love you so much. Lift us up tonight, Lord, and lift up every member of all of our families, wherever they may be, Lord. Just lift them up right at this moment. And we know you'll do it. And we thank you. Lord, we pray that Linda will feel better quickly. We miss her so. And thank you for Becky, who so willingly in less than 48 hours got a lesson up. And we know, God, that was by your mighty power. Lord, we love you so much. We will love you forever. And it is in your most precious and holy name we lift you high, Lord. Amen. Amen. You're going to see.
I'm gonna see it.
Okay.
Okay, my back's hurting a little bit today. Okay, well, here I am. Hi. Okay, hopefully Linda's gonna be back soon, but I'm gonna give this a shot. Okay, so you know how Linda makes the acrostic and she's got the word for every letter and I didn't remember to write them up here. And that we're talking about heartbreak this semester. And that one's one that honestly, there's a bit of reluctance in me to talk about heartbreak because I identify with that so much. I'm sure we all do. It's a hard subject. But me being me, when I started to think of the word, because you know it's the first one we're going to heal from heartbreak, so it's an H, and so you know I'm thinking H, okay, and I know she had a word, but I'm thinking now what would I apply to an H word to handle heartbreak, and this is y'all are getting way, you're going to be in my mind way too much because you know a heartbreaking incident in my life just came to mind. And I realized that the H words I came up with most readily when I recall that heartbreak was hide, hate, and hellfire as my reaction. When my oldest granddaughter was about 14, she played select ball and she played at a pretty high level. And we were watching her. She was on a team that the coach was a big deal coach on a big deal team. Okay. One game things really started to go wrong. in this scenario, Bailey, who's normally a pitcher, she can't play first base, got called in in the inning to play first base. First batter hit a line drive right over her head, and she was not fast enough. She didn't react fast enough. Runner scored. We were already behind, but then runner scored. Inning goes on, and the coach is so mad that he got ejected with something unrelated. And we are now, this is a one and done tournament. It is one and done for this team. And, you know, and I'm not trying to sound braggy or anything. This team never was the first one out. Okay. This coach was furious. When we got into the parking lot, he, in his post-game tirade, that he, you know, he said, everything we're doing wrong. And then he goes, and there's one girl here that I don't even know why she's here. Okay. Well, everybody knew who the one girl he was talking about was. And then he said, and so we're going to practice. You meet at practice, and if you don't show up, you're off the team. Okay. Well, but, you know, Bailey hid. Bailey wasn't going to go to that practice for loving her money. And for a long time, she didn't even play with the confidence that she had previously. Now, I know this in the grand scheme of heartbreaks, there, you know, I don't mean to measure heartbreaks, but in that moment, this was a heartbreak for my granddaughter, a legit heartbreak. So she hid. She didn't go to the next practice. Her mom took her the uniform in, talked to the coach. He did apologize, and he asked Alyssa to tell Bailey he was sorry. He didn't mean to hurt her. Okay. Well, those of y'all that know mine and David's relationship with Bailey know we were like the other parent. Okay. So Mops is way too involved to let this go. So the next H word that happened was I hunted him. I sent an email to the school where he coached. It was a personal email, and I sent it to him, and I didn't hate him. I didn't, but you know, like I said, I hunted him down, and I sent him a little note, and I sincerely acknowledged that he knew the game. He knew how to teach the game. I also acknowledged good personal traits that I had seen in him. But I ended my email telling him, and there was a reason I was doing this. It was kind of part of his coaching tactics sometimes. I told him that I thought he owed Bailey a personal apology. I thought he owed Bailey a talk with the team saying that he was inappropriate and that was out of line. And I also told him that if he ever said another unkind word to my granddaughter, I would chew him up and spit him out. And those were my words in my email. And I could actually do that because in the time we'd spent traveling with him, there were observations made. He did things a high school coach can't get away with, you know, and I told him that I'll be writing a letter to the school district if you bother my granddaughter ever again. Okay, so this caused a family discussion, and ironically, more H words came up with it. Alyssa was very hesitant to appreciate my actions because she was afraid that this guy had a lot of influence, that he might use it adversely against Bailey, which was something I didn't even think of. When I sent my little, you know, tirade, yeah, that one. No, righteous indignation, explanation of the situation. Oh, Was that an alliteration? Okay. My oldest daughter, Leah, was humiliated with her H work because she was also a high school coach, and guess whose tournament she played in? Our team was in. And she also used, there was also other words like hollering and hot that applied to Leah's reaction to so, okay. So, I will say my son-in-law, Jerry, they had just gotten married. He kind of said, hooray. He let Leah know. He said, he told her, said, I think I'm gonna like having a grandmother for my children that get threatened to chew up and spit out somebody. I don't know. But anyhow, so those are some of the H's connected to the heartbreak that came to mind when I started thinking about this. And I really thought, my acrostic was very different from Linda's. But let's go with what Linda had started, which I've got some biblical backup for instead. Oh, hateful email to someone that had hurt you. Okay. So do y'all remember what her H word was in her acrostic for heal? It was humble. It was humble. Okay. In the face of heartache, of heartbreak, we need to be humble. I say it humble. I don't know why, but humble. And this is that's not my first reaction, as you may have guessed from my story. When you think about heartbreaks, being humble, if you're talking about a heartbreak as a result of your own actions, I kind of get that a little more. But I'm going to go to the Bible for our reference. Can somebody would somebody mind? I'm going to break it up because it's the Old Testament. It's kind of one of those wordy reads. Would somebody look up 1 Samuel 13:8? Okay, then I need somebody for 11 and 12. Anybody? Okay. And then 13 and 14. Then later on, we're going to get Sam. Okay. So to set it up, Samuel has had a talk with Saul about about tactics, military tactics. Okay. So Saul has been given instructions on what he's supposed to do. Okay, so let's go with 1 Samuel, the first one. Who's got that?
He waited 7 days, the time set by Samuel. But Samuel did not come to kill. Saul's men began to scatter. So he said, bring me the burnt offering and the fellowship offerings. And Saul offered up the burnt offering. Just as he finished making this offering, Samuel arrived, and Saul went out to greet him.
Next.
But Samuel said, what is this you have done? Saul replied, I saw my men scattering from me, and you didn't arrive when you said you would, and the Philistines are at Michmash ready for battle. So I said, the Philistines are ready to march against us at Gilgal, and I haven't even asked for the Lord's help. So I felt compelled to offer the burnt offering myself before you came.
13 and 14. Okay, I got it. So Samuel said to Saul, you have acted foolishly. You have not kept the commandment of the Lord your God, which he commanded for you. Now the Lord would have established your kingdom over Israel forever, but now your kingdom shall not endure. Okay, then let's flip over to the 1 Samuel 15, 14 and 15. Does anybody have that? Okay.
But Samuel said, what then is this bleating of sheep in my ears? What is this lowing of cattle that I hear? Saul answered, the soldiers brought them from the Amalekites. They spared the best of the sheep and cattle to sacrifice to the Lord your God, but we totally destroyed the rest.
Okay, so, once again, let's see, after 15. I'm sorry, I turned my page when I shouldn't have. Okay, then Samuel said to Saul, wait and let me tell you what the Lord has said last night. And he said, speak. Let's see, that's not where I'm going. It's, why then did you not, it's dropping down verse 19 in chapter 15. Why then did you not obey the voice of the Lord, but rushed in upon the spoil and did what was evil in the sight of the Lord? Then Saul said to Samuel, I did obey the voice of the Lord, and I went on the mission on which the Lord sent me, and he brought back Agag, the king of Amalek. It goes on, but so, it was the people took some of the spoil, sheep and oxen, the choices of things were divided to the destruction of, and to sacrifice to the Lord your God. So once again, what commonality do we see in Saul's, explanation when he is confronted with his sin? What's his go-to here?
He blames everybody
He
else.
blames everybody else. Okay. So by contrast, let's talk about King David. King David caused heartbreak in his family that lasted the rest of his life, actually. But it was, he committed adultery, he murdered. He did it. But let's see what David said when he was confronted with his sin. Let's see, that's 1 Samuel,
2 Samuel.
2 Samuel 12:13. Then Daniel said to Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. That was his reaction to when the prophet Nathan came in and said, I don't know if y'all remember, he did the little parable kind of thing where he told him about a man that had all he needed and stole from someone else, and he's very, very, he's got a lot to say to David. It's not just a little, I know what you did to David. He points out in chapter 12 that, Nathan goes from verse 7 to verse 13, listing all the things, all the good things that had happened to David. And then this is what you do. You were delivered from the hands of Saul. You have been made king, and this is what you do. But David's reaction is completely different. He was humbled by his sin. The heartbreak in his household, it was caused by his own actions. And yet, when humbled, the consequences didn't go away. But God's spirit didn't leave David like it left Saul. So when I think in that terms, I think Linda's onto something here with humble in connection as a first step in healing from heartbreak. But there's things. Another one. Let me see here. I got my papers messed up. But another example of owning the heartbreak you caused someone, or that you've caused, is the people of Nineveh. Okay, I know that one's kind of probably a stretch. It's like, where are you going with this? But okay, when the people of Nineveh were confronted with their sins and the reality of you have displeased God so much. Your vile acts and wicked ways of life have done so much that God is going to literally wipe you out. And their realization was, oh, this is our state. And it was in Jonah 3, 5 through 8, it tells us all the people of, the city, they dressed in sackcloth. And that the king even put sackcloth on his animals. Okay. Now, the sackcloth, I mean, I know we're familiar with hearing about sackcloth and ashes, and each thing had had a meaning. But I was looking up, okay, so what is sackcloth? Actually, it's like goat hair turned the wrong way. That it was not a pleasant thing, of course, and obviously I wanted to read it to you, and now I can't find my paper. Well, be patient with me here. Anyhow, I lost it. Sackcloth isn't fun. That was the part I was trying to get to.
Coarse, uncomfortable fabric often woven from goat hair.
Thank you. Woven from goat hair. And the little thing I read, especially if you had a black goat, but I didn't know there were many, I didn't know black goats, but anyway, but so you're literally wearing this with the goat hair against your skin. And then eventually, after you're finished with it, they would turn it into a sack. That was why it was a sackcloth. So would you say the people of Nineveh's reaction was one of being humble, but one of being okay? Another example but they set themselves up. Their own actions caused the heartbreak that they were facing. The heartbreak of knowing they had displeased God to that point. What about when it's not you? When you didn't do it? There's one thing, it's one thing to I don't know, maybe, if I'm confronted with a heartbreak, like getting in trouble with my family, going home and not sleeping that night and knowing, man, I messed up, owning it, I get being humble when you got to own it. But what about being humble when you had nothing to do with this calamity, with this heartbreak? And I was thinking about that, and then the lady with the issue of blood is what came to mind. And that this is one of those things where it wasn't any fault of her own. She had nothing to do with it. That I looked it up to try and kind of understand how this could happen. One of the things I read said endometriosis. Endometriosis. Childbirth. If there had been childbirth and the child, it went wrong somewhere, there could be punctures that would cause these things. And there's women today that still suffer from it in areas where medical care isn't available readily. And they too live the life similar to this lady. But I've told y'all a couple of times last year maybe about that I read this book that the story, how he presented the woman just touched me so much. And now this book is called The Keeper, and it's from Charles Martin. And I'm going to warn you, he's pretty graphic. I mean, he's not graphic. How about he just tells it like it is. It's not cleaned up. It's not particularly pretty. But I wanted to share what he read, what he wrote. And think of how it, and think of this lady's life, her heartbreak of no fault of her own. Through no fault of her own, she'd been bleeding for 12 years. We're not sure why, but we do know that Leviticus 15 gives strict instructions to anyone like her. She was unclean. Everything that she touched, lied down on, sat on, or wore, or everything she ever touched, and everything that touched any of the things she touched had laid down on, sat down on, or wore was unclean. This included people. That meant she had never touched, whoever she touched was unclean. The message given, the law applied to her was stay away. You are a cast out. Don't even think about setting foot in the temple. Given her condition, she had been excluded from worship, from offering sacrifice, and was not allowed in the front door. She could not get access to the priest and hence God. There was no atonement, no forgiveness. She couldn't shake hand in public. She couldn't kiss anyone, didn't hug anyone. She was kept at arm's length. There was the issue of constantly having to wear a diaper. Now, of course, this is sort of like The Chosen. This is, a literary license on a historical event. So, something to soak it up so it didn't trickle down her leg. But sometimes it soaked through. Sometimes she left a trail. Her shame soaked through too. In the back of her house where she dried her laundry, she hung stained rags. Her neighbors couldn't help but notice when they flapped in the breeze. She had tried everything, been to every doctor. Now broke, she traveled far and spent every penny. The problem had not improved. It had only got worse. She was a walking, steaming, stench-filled mess. For whatever reason, she was a bleeder. But news had traveled, and even the outcasts had heard the stories of him. Something in her stirs. Hope, desperation, a mix of both. Unclean, she cannot get to where he is. They won't let her. The law prohibits it. She knows she is not to be allowed around other people and has been forced to live and sustain herself on the outskirts of everything. If she knows anything at all, she is certainly not allowed to reach out and touch anyone, most of all him. But she does. She doubles her diapers and wraps it tightly about her. She covers her head more than usual, crowding down her eyes and her brow so that she cannot be recognized. The crowd passes. He is in the middle. Everyone's attention's on him. She flies in behind, out of sight. Then, gathering her nerve, she picks up her step, working closer. If she is caught, she will be disciplined. Greater shame. Complete and total public embarrassment. Bleeder and believer, she weaves her way through the crowd. If I can just touch him, I know I will be made well. That belief has brought her just a few steps away. The crowd encroaches. She has to elbow her way. She knows this is a violation. If she's caught, she doesn't want to think about it. A few more steps and he is there. Standing to him are several men who look like they are from Galilee. The big, loud one must be Peter. She hears him. She's heard of him too. The crowd shoves and pushes and tightens, and she is losing sight of Jesus. Finally, in desperation, she lunges through, extends her reach, and grasps his garment. She feels the power. She feels it in her. Mark and Luke say immediately or straightway. Mark, from that hour. She's right then healed. from 12 years, right there. She begins to fall back to escape, but she is shattered. Trembling, she is shattered, but she is made whole. Her knees buckle. Jesus pauses, stops. She is fearful of what he might say. Then he says it, who touched me? She is discovered, found out, more shame, cast out. Will they stone her for so great a violation? Jesus raises his voice. Who touched me? His friends, led by Peter, say, Master, all these people, everybody's touching you. Jesus shakes his head. They don't get it. Somebody touched him with intention, and he wants her brought before him. Why? Because he fashioned her, knit her together. He knows her pain. He knows her suffering. He saw her coming through the crowd. He knows she's been weakened by 12 years of chronic anemia. So he slowed so he can reach out and she could reach out and touch it. I like the thought that, he's not finished with her. Somebody touched me. Power left my body. Trembling, having lost control of her emotions, bleeding, soaked in tears. She cried, her cries echo off the stone walls. She is a woman undone, laid bare. She tells him. Then of all the words he could have spoken, the single word he says to her, his daughter. His daughter. Now, like I said, this is a different take. This is to kind of, he wrote this, making it more real for us. But I know when I read this, I thought, gee, that would be a pain. But the way he wrote this, you can see the truth all over it, living in that time, dealing with that. And can't get a hug from anybody. You can't go to the priest and make your sacrifice. What for them was their only avenue to any kind of forgiveness. So we know the biblical accounts, it's in 3 different gospels, that this instance is significant enough. 3 different eyewitnesses put it in their gospels. And her heartbreak, she didn't yell at Jesus and say, why am I this way? She touched the hem of his garment in utter humility. Mm-hmm. Once again, I think Linda's letter H word is better than mine. I wanted to think of another aspect of dealing with a heartbreak of not of your own making, with humility. And it came to mind. I know this is y'all have probably heard the story of of how it is well with my soul came about. Okay. Okay. I've got stuff everywhere, sorry. But Horatio Spafford, okay, in the 1800, it was after the Chicago fire that are y'all acquainted with the man that he wrote the words to "It Is Well With My Soul," okay? And the adversity he faced. I mean, he had lost a child. His business had gone in through a fire. He had sent his family, his wife and 4 daughters, was sending them to England. Now, we hear about, and I appreciate him. I do. But we don't, I looked up her. I looked up her. And her name was Anna. And of course, she survived everything he survived. But the thing about Anna, as painful, as heartbreaking as what Horatio went through, Anna was the one there. She had 4 girls. The oldest was 9, the youngest was 18 months. And it's crazy. 2 ships hit each other in the middle of the ocean. There was 13 people on board, and only 87 of them survived. That ship sank in 12 minutes. Okay. And one of the accounts that I read of it, from her perspective, is when the water rushed in, it swept, her baby was in her arms, her 18-month-old was in her arms. And she watched the other 3 exit. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, I know Horatio was involved, but poor Anna. And when she got off, when there was an American ship close by, the Tree Mountain right here, TRE and then Mountain, was an American ship, and they rescued everybody. The ship she was on was called the Loch Earn, but they rescued everybody. And in my infinite technological abilities, I found a quote, one of the quotes she said, got distracted, didn't save it, and the computer was, David got on it, and I couldn't find it again. But anyhow, but the quotes she said is when they rescued her was one of, I accept this as God's will. That he gave me my children, and now he has them back. I wish I had got the exact quote, because they had it. It was online, still there somewhere. But that was her reaction. It was humility. She didn't write the song, but she lived it. And so I just thought I would share about her tonight. So the end of their lives, they went on and had 2 more children, one of whom their little boy died after all that. So, that poor woman had a total of 6 children that died. They had another daughter, but they went into mission work. They went to Israel. And that was her response to heartbreak. Now, I got to tell y'all, I don't think, I've already warned y'all, this class is going to be hard on me, because I just don't want any of the people I love to suffer heartbreak. But you know what? We don't make it through without it. And I hope that as we talk about ways to face it, that this evening I've helped share as that as a personality of mine, like mine, being humble is not my first move. But the man after God's own heart, it was his. And so I just wanted to share that thought with y'all tonight. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for being so nice. I forgot to ask questions. I was gonna ask questions. I forgot. But my papers are also all messed up. But anyhow, thank y'all for your time, and I hope it's been worth it. And I gotta go. I'm on the prayer committee, and so oh, I forgot to read to you from Luke, and I forgot to read to you. I forgot to read another good Psalms, but Dale is gonna help me. The song, I asked her to lead this with y'all, that shield about me. It's based on a song, The Lifter of My Head. The first time I ever heard that song, it made me cry. That just think about when your children, when they're in such pain, and you lift their head. We got somebody to lift our head.
I'm told Corey, it's right and down, and you come to my funeral and the song.
Yeah, this the first time we sang this, and I think it was Monty, the first time that led it. I went home and put it on Facebook that it was to share that song. But those the words that are moving me so were written by a woman that had suffered all kinds of heartbreak. So anyhow, I'll leave it with y'all.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
Everybody got a copy, because Dale, you're gonna lead us, aren't you? Okay. Then. Thank you, Wednesday.
But you're gonna do your thing first, right?
Okay.
Thank you, Becky, thank you.
I hope some of y'all know this. I don't want to sing it so low.
Well, you got good voices.
Okay, here we go. You're the my you're the you're my glory. You're the my head. That my glory. You're the lifter of my head. So high
Thank you, Dale. I feel like I need to be prostrate on the floor when we sing that. This church class, and there is not one of them sitting here or standing here that has not had tremendous heartbreak. That would be my guess. I know I have over my life, and I feel like we all. And so we're sisters in here, and let's just embrace each other. So thank you all for coming, and please come back. Please come back to us. In case before you leave, we've got a card up here for Linda and a card for Dolly Burns. If you need to sign that card and just tell them you love them, do it before you walk out of this room, if you can. Now, we've got our door prize. If you've got a feather under your chair, you get a prize tonight. So just kind of look under your chair. Feel up under your chair. Okay. Oh, my goodness. You, good night. Well, let's just, you know what? I think was that from last week? Because I think I put one in. It's you. Jennifer, I forget every Wednesday to take that feather off the chair. This has happened before. This is there you are. Yeah. You got it. There you go. Okay. Jennifer, yeah. Listen. Y'all help me remember. Help me remember to pull the feathers from underneath the chair. I bet every chair has a feather from last year. Oh. Oh. I love it. Oh.
Did she hold something now? That's cute.
Oh.
Good. Also, if you have any prayer requests, we've got our wonderful prayer board. I was looking up there tonight. And in fact, I put a prayer request up there. Write that down and put it up there. You'll be surprised the people that go by that board.
Yeah.
You know, people don't just walk out of here. At some point, they're going to look at that board, either in Sunday morning class or ladies' Bible class that's in here on Tuesday morning or Wednesday evening. You're going to be prayed over with that prayer board. So write out your prayer request. Just to let you know, this class is going to go every Wednesday night, and it's going to run through the end of April. The only break we're going to have is on February 11th. That will be our winter break, and March the 18th for spring break. And I'll be announcing that every night, every Wednesday night. So we'll kind of remember that. Okay, we are going to close with a prayer, and then Dale's going to close us up with a final song. Dale. So, I forgot this. There's going to be a ladies' day at the Longmire Road Church of Christ, and it will be March 21st, which is a little while from now, but it'll get here quickly. I'm going to lay this up here. If anyone's interested in going to that, it's called Always Abounding. So I bet it's going to be great. I don't know. Don't forget it. Y'all want to check that out.
It's in Conroe.
In Conroe. Yeah, Conroe Church of Christ. Conroe Church. Okay. All right, we're going to close with a prayer. Once again, y'all, let's keep the Lord right with us as we walk out this door and hang on to him for dear life. He's got us. He's got every one of us. Don't forget it. Gracious Father, thank you. We thank you again for this night. Lord, I pray your special blessing rest on Becky and her family. It's a lot to get up and teach a class, and especially at a short notice. God, I pray your special blessing rest upon precious Becky. Lord, for everyone in our church and our outside our church, our friends, our family, anyone suffering heartbreak right now, we just pray your wonderful comfort rest upon them and help them to feel it. Help them to know you're with them through it. Lord, you knew from the beginning we're going to have heartbreaks. You knew it, and you promised us. You promised us, Lord, that you're with us. Let's not be afraid or don't be troubled as best we can be, but trust you and humbly walk with you. Lord, thank you for every woman here tonight. And bless us all and our families. Bring us back next Wednesday night. Bind us together in our hearts. We love you forever, Lord, and it is in your name we pray. Amen.
552 in the red book. Do you have it? 552. Have thine own way, Lord. Have thine own way.
Yeah. She kind of put it there and goes, well, that big bar. Thank you.